I took one look at her and I said, "Where's Greg?" And she didn't answer me. She just shook her head. And I said, "Where is Greg?" And she says, "They killed him."
New today, a judge found enough evidence to move the case forward for the man accused of a 1972 murder in Vernal. Darrell Eugene Choate is accused of killing Greg Dahl Nickell.
Yeah, this case has been cold for decades, just until recently when investigators say DNA evidence led them to Choate.
Jim Spiewak is live for us in Vernal tonight. And Jim, the hearing wrapped up this afternoon without Choate testifying.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Heidi and Mark. He did invoke his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination, but his defense team laid out their case against what the state has, which they say is DNA evidence and also some witness statements from Choate's old family members admitting to the shooting, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But here's what Choate's defense is largely predicated on. Three different factors. First, they question the chain of custody and evidence collection practices going back to 1972. Second, they had several questions about how investigators obtained Choate's initial DNA sample at the end of last year before they arrested him. And then lastly, they tried to get these witness statements from Choate's family members omitted under the law of spousal incrimination. Two of the statements the judge did allow into evidence during the preliminary hearing today. They were from Choate's stepdaughter and his brother-in-law, claiming that Choate admitted to the shooting. His defense attorney then asked the case officer if any physical evidence can show that Choate pulled the trigger. Here's that exchange. Take a listen.
Based on the DNA evidence exclusively, you cannot tell who the shooter is versus the non-shooter, as described by Ranelle, correct?
If we're not talking about the statements, then all I have is the DNA, and I can't tell from the DNA.
So also according to these witness statements, Choate first admitted that this was a hit job, that he was involved, but he didn't pull the trigger. And he also admitted to consensual sex. Again, that's according to the witness statements from two of his family members. He then later told those family members that he was the trigger man. The judge did deny, at least for now during the preliminary hearing, a third witness statement coming from Choate's wife. That was not admitted today. That is under advisement as to whether or not that will be admitted if this case goes forward. So where do we go from here? The judge set an arraignment hearing for June 9th at 1:30 in the afternoon, so Choate will stay behind bars until then. We are reporting live in Vernal tonight. Jim Spiewak, KUTV 2 News.
And this is one of the oldest cases being prosecuted in the U.S. right now.
It's all thanks to DNA technology. In 1972, 21-year-old Gregory Dahl Nickell was murdered and 18-year-old woman abducted and raped. Initially, police collected more than 30 pieces of evidence, but the case went cold. 5 decades later, DNA technology identified two suspects, Arthur Bell and Darrell Eugene Choate. Bell died before police could arrest him. Choate arrested last October.
You can watch Jim's full story on how police cracked this cold case on the 2 News YouTube page. Scan the QR code on your screen. It'll take you there.